Welcome to my channel, Super Rare Coins. Today is best, top 3 coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. The 1975 Lincoln Memorial, sent officially a 1-cent coin of the United States, is a small yet historically and symbolically important piece of American coinage issued during a decade marked by political transition, economic turmoil, and national reflection following the Watergate scandal and the Vietnam War. The 1975 penny circulated widely and formed part of everyday life for millions of Americans. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small d mint mark found beneath the date on the obverse front side. Like all Lincoln cents since 1909, this coin features a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose legacy of leadership during the Civil War continues to make him a symbol of unity, freedom, and justice. The obverse design, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, is one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. It features Lincoln's head and profile, the word liberty to his left, the date 1975 to his right, and the D.I. mint mark below the date indicating the Denver Mint above. Lincoln's head arches the national motto, "In God We Trust." Brenner's depiction of Lincoln is notable for its realism and dignity and remains a powerful artistic symbol on U.S. coins. This design has been used with only minor modifications for well over a century, making it a pillar of American numismatic identity. On the reverse back of the 1975 D.I. cent is the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears reverse design. This newer design was created by Frank Gasparow, who later served as chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The memorial appears with fine architectural detail and under magnification. You can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside, echoing the real-life statue in Washington, D.C. Encircling the top is the United States of America, while the national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many one, sits just above the memorial at the bottom. The denomination 1 cent is boldly inscribed. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was used from 1959 until 2008 and symbolizes national unity and civic pride. The 1975 D-cent was struck in 95% copper and 5% di-ends zinc, the standard composition for Lincoln cents at the time. It has a diameter of 19.5 mm, a thickness of 1.52 mm, and weighs 3.11 grams. The edge is plain smooth. This copper composition continued until mid-1982, when rising metal costs forced the U.S. Mint to adopt a cheaper zinc-based core. Thus, the 1975 D-penny remains part of the more desirable copper era of U.S. cents, sought after not just by collectors, but also by bullion hoarders for its intrinsic metal value, which often exceeds 1 cent. In terms of mintage, the 1975 D-cent was produced in very large numbers. Over 4.5 billion were struck at the Denver Mint that year. This massive output makes the coin extremely common in circulated condition, and its base collector value is generally face value unless it's in higher grades in uncirculated mint state condition, particularly MS65 or higher with original red luster. A 1975 D-penny can be worth between $0.50 and $5 United States dollars. Examples graded MS67 red or higher are much scarcer and can command higher prices, sometimes reaching $2,550 USD or more at auction, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Proof coins for 1975 were struck only at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark, so there is no 1975 D-proof cent. There are no major varieties for the 1975 D-penny widely recognized in standard coin catalogs, but collectors do seek out error coins such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or struck through errors. Some of these can fetch a premium depending on severity, visibility, and collectability. Additionally, coins with sharp strikes and clean surfaces, especially with a full original red color, are preferred by collectors. Building registry sets of high-grade Lincoln cents. The historical context of 1975 adds another layer of depth to this coin's story. That year marked the second year of President Gerald Ford's administration, a time when the nation was healing from the Watergate scandal and adjusting to the aftermath of the Vietnam War, which had officially ended in April 1975 with the fall of Saigon. The U.S. economy was struggling with stagflation, and Americans were navigating a period of national uncertainty and global change. Despite these upheavals, the Lincoln cent remained a constant symbol of democratic ideals, trust in leadership, and civic unity. It was used daily by ordinary people for bus fares, school lunches, and vending machines, forming an unspoken thread of economic continuity. Today, many collectors view the 1975 D.I. Lincoln cent as an affordable and nostalgic piece of late 20th century Americana. Though billions were minted, well-preserved examples in high grade, especially with full red coloration, are valued in both sentimental and numismatic terms. It also serves as a learning tool for young collectors just starting out, offering a glimpse into American history, economics, and coin production processes. Next, the 1978 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial cent, is a small yet powerful emblem of American history, tradition, and everyday commerce. This copper penny bearing the likeness of President Abraham Lincoln represents More than just its face value, it reflects the enduring legacy of the 16th president and a century-old commitment to national unity. The obverse front of the coin features Lincoln's right-facing portrait, designed in 1909 by Victor David Brenner, initially to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The design is a landmark in American numismatics, being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The obverse carries the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1978 to the right. Depending on the mint location, a mint mark may appear just below the date AD for coins minted in Denver, no mint mark for Philadelphia, and S for proof coins made in San Francisco. The reverse back of the 1978 penny features the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparro, introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design replaced the earlier Wheatier's reverse. The image shows the neoclassical monument in Washington, D.C., home to the famous seated statue of Lincoln. Gasparro's rendition includes intricate architectural lines, and with a magnifying glass one can see the small statue of Lincoln. Between the columns, an artistic nod to the real structure encircling the top of the reverse is the phrase "United States of America," while the national motto "E pluribus unum," out of many one, rests just above the memorial. The denomination 1 cent is boldly inscribed at the bottom. This layout makes the Lincoln Memorial cent one of the most visually recognizable coins in U.S. history. The 1978 cent is made from a copper-based alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, the standard penny composition since 1962. It has a diameter of 19.5 mm, weighs 3.11 grams, and features a plain edge. It was produced just 4 years before the composition changed in 1982 to a copper-plated zinc version, making the 1978 issue part of the more collectible copper era. These copper cents have a slightly higher intrinsic value due to their metal content, often exceeding 1 cent in bullion terms. Although U.S. law prohibits melting coins for copper extraction in terms of mint production, the Philadelphia Mint no mint mark struck over 5.56 billion 1978 pennies, while the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark, produced over 4.28 billion. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint created about 3.12 million proof coins for collectors marked with an S because of these high mintage figures. The 1978 cent is very common in circulated condition and holds little to no premium above face value in worn condition. However, uncirculated mint state examples with strong strikes, full red color, and no contact marks can be worth $0.25 to $2 or more, especially in MS65 or higher grades. Proof versions 1978S can range from $2 to $10 depending on condition and whether they are graded by professional services like PCGs or NGC, though there are no widely recognized major varieties. For the 1978 Lincoln cent, collectors do search for error coins such as off center strikes, doubled dies, die breaks, or struck through debris. These errors can add significant value to an otherwise ordinary coin, with the most dramatic examples fetching tens or even hundreds of dollars in auctions and collector markets. From a historical perspective, the year 1978 was a time of significant transition in the United States. The country was emerging from the Vietnam War era and grappling with inflation, energy crises, and shifting political ideologies. President Jimmy Carter was in office, focusing on human rights, environmental conservation, and global diplomacy, though his administration would soon face economic and political challenges. In this context, the Lincoln cent remained a steady presence in the daily lives of Americans, used in vending machines, gas stations, diners, and pocket change. While its purchasing power was diminishing due to inflation, it still symbolized the values of equality and freedom associated with Lincoln's presidency. Culturally, the Lincoln cent was also a familiar part of childhood. Kids collected these pennies in cardboard albums, used them in school projects, and often started their coin collecting the journey with Lincoln cents due to their availability and historical richness. The 1978 edition, while common, sits comfortably within this larger story, bridging the gap between generations of Americans who used wheat cents and those who would eventually see the rise of the zinc-based penny and the elimination of the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 2009. For collectors today, the 1978 Lincoln penny remains a staple in any complete Lincoln cent collection. It is a great entry-level coin due to its availability, historical significance, and artistic merit. Proper care involves storing higher grade or proof coins in archival safe holders such as 2x2 flips, coin tubes, or slabs to protect against oxidation and handling damage. Even though billions were made, well-preserved examples with sharp details and vibrant red color are still desirable to those building complete date and mint mark sets. Next, the 1980 United States 1 cent coin, commonly referred to as the Lincoln Memorial cent, is a small but historically significant piece of American coinage. Struck by the United States Mint for general circulation, this copper-colored coin features a design that had been in use since 1959, commemorating the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and later aligning with the bicentennial of his presidency. The 1980 cent bears the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the Obverse front, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner in 1909 for the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln's right-facing bust shows fine detail in his facial features and clothing, while the motto "In God We Trust" arches above his head. Liberty is placed to the left and the year 1980 appears to the right, followed by the mint mark if applicable. In 1980, the coin was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D mint mark, and San Francisco S mint mark. For proof coins, only the Philadelphia and Denver issues were intended for general circulation, while the San Francisco mint produced high-quality proof versions for collectors. Depending on the mint of origin, the small mint mark appears just beneath the date on the obverse. This was the first year since 1968 that the Philadelphia mint included no mint mark. Prior to this, the absence of a mint mark also signified Philadelphia, except for special collector's strikes. The reverse back of the 1980 cent features the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo, who later became chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. Introduced in 1959, this design replaced the wheat ears of the earlier wheat penny and continued in use until 2008. The image of the Lincoln Memorial is intricately detailed, and under magnification one can even see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln between the memorial's columns, an artistic nod to the real-life statue in Washington, D.C. Above the memorial is the national motto "E pluribus unum," Latin for "out of many one," while around the upper and lower rims are the inscriptions "United States of America" and 1 cent. This reverse design reflects the values of unity, democracy, and national pride. The composition of the 1980 Lincoln cent is 95% copper and 5% zinc, the same alloy used since 1962, and it has a diameter of 19.5 mm, a thickness of 1.52 mm, and weighs 3.11 grams. This composition would continue only until 1982, when the mint transitioned to a predominantly zinc-based cent due to rising copper prices. Thus, the 1980 cent still belongs to the copper-era cents, making it desirable among collectors and bullion hoarders for its intrinsic metal value, which often exceeds its face value. The edge of the coin is plain smooth, and the coin is round like all standard U.S. cents. In terms of mintage, the 1980 Lincoln cent was produced in extremely large quantities to meet circulation needs across the country. The Philadelphia mint struck approximately 4 billion coins, while the Denver mint produced about 5.1 billion, and the San Francisco mint issued around 3.5 million proof coins. Due to these massive mintages, most 1980 cents in circulated condition are very common and hold little value beyond their face or melt value. However, uncirculated mint state examples, especially those with no marks, sharp strikes, and original red luster, can be worth $0, $25 to $2, depending on condition. Proof coins 1980s in brilliant condition, especially those graded PR69 or PR70, may command higher prices, often $5 to $20 or more, depending on certification and quality. There are also known minor varieties and errors for the 1980 cent that interest collectors. Examples include off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled dies, and struck-through errors, which can increase the value of a specific coin, depending on the rarity and visual appeal of the error. Some 1980D coins show strong strikes and are favored by collectors seeking high-quality mint-state coins for registry sets. From a historical context, the 1980 cent circulated during a period of economic and political transition in the United States. The country was facing high inflation, energy crises, and increasing tensions with Iran and the Soviet Union. Jimmy Carter was president at the beginning of the year, but in November 1980, Ronald Reagan was elected, ushering in a new era of conservative policy and economic reform. The Lincoln cent, long a symbol of American values and unity, remained a constant presence in Americans' pockets, reflecting the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln and the democratic ideals he stood for in daily use. The 1980 penny would have bought small items like a stick of gum, a newspaper with several other coins, or contributed to lunch money. Its small value made it a common fixture in change purses, piggy banks, vending machines, and packing meters. Well, the purchasing power of a cent has eroded significantly since then. These coins still represent a tangible link to the daily life and economy of late 20th century America. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.